This is a Mk3 Seat Leon, and if you're thinking about buying one of these, you've done yourself a favour clicking on this video, because I'm going to take you through all the common problems, show you everything that tends to go wrong, so you can go out there and buy the best example possible. Let's go. So engine-wise, I'm delighted to say there really wasn't a bad choice in these Leons. They're all pretty good. One little advisory there, and that is, as of 2017, when the facelift of these cars came along, there was a bit of a mix-up with the engines as well. So the 1.4 that we've got here, that turned into the 1.5 with the cylinder deactivation to save fuel, and the 1.2 was no more as well. That got replaced by the 1 litre 3-cylinder. Now, one other advisory is, when you're choosing your engine, look at the types of journeys that you're going to be making. If you spend a lot of time on the motorways, the diesels are really quite economical, but if you spend your time doing a lot of short journeys, not so much motorway, personally I would avoid the diesels, because you'll tend to run into DPF problems. That's not a problem specific to the Leon, by the way. That's just a modern diesel problem where the DPFs will start to choke up if it doesn't get through a regeneration on the motorway. So whilst the engines are largely reliable, unfortunately we can't say the same about every gearbox that you're going to find in the Leon. Now specifically here, what I'm talking about is the DSG automatic style gearboxes, because they had two different ones. It was a Volkswagen Group decision, this, and the two gearboxes that you're going to get, well, one of them has got a wet clutch pack fitted, the other one has got a dry clutch pack fitted. Now that wet clutch pack, these tend to be pretty reliable, we don't see many problems with them. The dry clutch pack, on the other hand, well, these can be quite troublesome. So the problem with these gearboxes is they are just fundamentally flawed. Now, although they've been revised and made better as the years have passed, we still see quite a number of problems with them. Now, if you're buying a slightly older one, higher mileage, the chances that you're going to see issues, it's more of a question of when, not if. So be very careful about this. The symptoms that you're going to get from a failing dry clutch gearbox are juddering when you're pulling away, abrupt gear changes, and any untoward noises as well you need to be on the listen out for. Now, if you're not sure if the car you're looking at has got a wet clutch pack or a dry clutch pack, drop a comment below. I would much rather spend the time coming back and letting you know, rather than you going out and buying the wrong car. So you're maybe thinking to yourself, I'll buy a manual then, I'll play it safe. Not so fast. There were a couple of issues to make you aware of there as well. Now, I'm not for one moment saying that they were unreliable or the problems were really common. Certainly the issues with the manual gearboxes were much less common than that of the dry clutch DSG. But the reports that come from owners are often the gears can feel a little bit inconsistent. So some days it slots into gear really nice and smooth, and then the next gear change that you go for is really abrupt and you're having to kind of force it in. Now, my advice on that is just to find a car which isn't doing it, because some do, some don't. A bit like this car here, this is smooth as can be. Now, the next thing we're going to get on to, not everyone's aware of this, so stay tuned for it. Quick favour to ask you guys though, and that is, if you're getting value from this, please do hit the like button on this video. And also, we create these guides for every type of car, so if you tend to buy second hand and want to be a little bit more in the know when you do go view cars, hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications as well. Something else worth mentioning also, if you're watching a buyer's guide for one of these cars, it maybe stands to reason that you're looking to buy one. I'm happy to say this very nice example that's been provided to us today is for sale. I'm going to add all the details in the description below, so you can go off and check that out. If it happens to be in your price range, 8,500, something like that, about 8,500 or so, very good value. So this point that not everyone's aware of is to do with the rear suspension. Now, depending on the engine in the Leon that you bought, that will determine what the rear suspension's like. So if it was less than 150 brake horsepower, you were going to get the torsion beam, quite a rudimentary, simple setup. If it was greater than 150 brake horsepower, you got the more sophisticated multi-link rear suspension. Bit of a better ride, and if you are a bit of a driver, that's the one to have as well. Now, regardless of what setup the Leon that you're looking at has, be aware that shock absorbers can be known to leak on these, so do what you can to have a look underneath for leaking shocks. So Luke, thanks for bringing the car down today. How long have you had it then?
It's been 3.5 years, so it has. Got it in January of 2020.
And how have you enjoyed it? Been quite good, or?
It's been great. Great wee car, great fun. Gets going when you plant the foot. It's all in great.
Have you done any mods to it, or totally different stock?
It's got a MST induction kit. It's got the front splitter. It's been given the wide mouth wrap. It's got tinted taillights, spoiler, dropped 45mm each corner with loading springs, and it's got a stage 1 remap.
So you've done a fair few bits then. Any mod in particular that you really like, or you maybe regret doing?
One in particular I like is the induction kit, because you get to hear it.
Bit more noise?
Aye. Definitely.
Sweet.
A wee bit disappointed I've got the back box delete, but it doesn't really live up to it with the intake you've got. Maybe want to get rid of the centre res for a bit more noise if you're looking for that.
Alright,
I would say.
Yeah, and problem-wise, any problems in your ownership?
No problems at all that I've had anyway. All in, it's been a great car.
Solid and reliable?
Yeah, solid, reliable. Very good.
Next point, get a real good look at these rear lights, because it's super common that the seals on them perish and start to let moisture in. So what you're looking for is either condensation on the inside of them or a completely failed light unit altogether. Now last time I checked, I think these were about 170, 180 pounds a piece, so not cheap. If there's condensation in these, or obviously if it's a failed light unit, bring that into the negotiation, save yourself a bit of money so you can get it put right. Something else to be aware of is it was 2016 before these cars got Apple CarPlay and Android Auto fitted. So chances are, if you buy one after that point, you're just going to use your phone for the sat-nav. But if you're buying one older than that point, then you might want to use the sat-nav. Be aware that it's £160 for the update SIM to bring the maps up to date. So again, make sure you bring that into the negotiation, save that money back for yourself. Now the last point to mention whilst we got the car here and before we get it out on the road to see how it drives is with paint quality. Now this is something that a lot of owners complained about. It seemed to get better as the years went on. Certainly this car's in really good shape for its 80,000 miles, but be on the lookout for any stone chips, and also lacquer peel seemed fairly common on the earlier examples as well. Right, anyway, let's get it out on the road, see how it goes. It's quite torquey.
Is it?
A lovely induction noise, that really adds to it. So one thing I've seen a lot of people talk about was interior rattles. This seems really solid. What's your experience of that been? Is it always like this, or did you have some rattles you had to sort out?
No, I had to sort it out. No, not at all. It's always been like this.
Seems great, seems solid. And this is 2015, so it's not one of the earliest ones. Maybe got that sorted out by this point then, 'cause it feels sturdy. Material use is quite nice as well. It's all sort of soft touch, isn't it? So was it always going to be the manual for you, or was it just it so happened that the manual came up for sale in this spec?
No, I just seen it on Arnold Clark fitting and never even had any photos of it, and just seen it was green and went yes.
So it was colour that sold you on it?
Aye, colour sold me basically.
The colour is great. It's quite rare to see them in this colour.
There's no very many of them. I think I've only seen 3 or 4 others in Scotland.
Right, okay.
That have this colour.
Yeah. That's a good point. What do you tend to average?
It's averaging 36.5.
36
now. And that's with me sort of getting a wee bit of welly.
A bit of beans.
Aye.
So this is how you typically drive it, and you get mid-30s to the gallon, you'd say?
I would say so, aye.
That's pretty good. Right, and this as well, so you've got 2-cylinder mode?
Yeah, 2-cylinder mode, so that's obviously if you're not rallying it or you're just casually just stoking along, it will just go drop into 2-cylinder mode, and it's basically saving fuel.
And is the car completely in control of that, or can you enable that mode?
No, currently the car's in control of that.
Right.
But you can either unplug it from the engine bay, or
so you can take it away?
Aye, so I can take it away basically, or you can get it mapped out.
Right.
So you can. So it is an option that you can get rid of it.
There's sport mode and stuff as well in this?
Aye.
So taking like eco mode and sport mode.
So there's sport, eco, normal, and then individual.
So it still goes in 2-cylinder mode and sport?
Aye, still in sport mode, 2-cylinder.
So you might have to do away with that, eh?
Aye.
Does it sound quite different when it drops into 2-cylinder mode?
I've not noticed a different sound, say.
Sound like a big scooter or something. Do you hear some of the 3-cylinder cars? They sound really distinctive. Never heard a 2-cylinder car. if you drop a gear and floor it, is it quite quick to come back to 4-cylinder mode and give you the power?
Even if you're still in the same gear.
So it'll just come back on?
Just goes straight back, aye.
That's great. Well, thanks so much for bringing the car around, Luke.
No worries.
Awesome. Good luck with the sale. And as I said, if you want more details on the car, in the description below, you'll find everything.
Sure.
So how do we score the Mk3 Seat Leon on a reliability leaderboard then? Well, it's always going to fare fairly well on this because, well, they're solid cars. There's really not many problems with them at all. The one proviso on that is that dry clutch gearbox. You really want to be wary with that because, as I said, it's not a question of if you're going to get problems, it's a question of when. So taking all things into consideration, we award it an 8.5 out of 10. Now, thank you so much for watching. Please do hit that subscribe button and we'll see you for the next video.